Hello everyone, today I'll be doing a solo flawless on the Shattered Realm Ruins of Wrath with Hunter. For my subclass, I'll be using the top tree Nightstalker with Gambler's Dodge. For my kinetic, I'll be using the Peacebond with Headstone. Next, I'll be using the Arc Bow, Arsenic Bite 4B. Heavy, I'll be using the famous Lament. Helmet, I'll be using double sword ammo finder 10 mobility with take and charge. The gauntlets, I'll be using bow reloader, shield break charge, unstoppable sidearm with 10 recovery. Exotic, I'll be using the double dash 6 coyote, void damage resistance, concussive dampener with protective light and 10 mobility. Leg armor, I'll be using the 10 recovery, sword scavenger, power for friends, and an arc mod I'm forced to use to get 20 mobility. Finally, I'll be using passive guard with bomber. So I decided to go for the hunter, but the top tree Nightstalker with the power of lament, which I will manipulate and take advantage of it. We can gain our health back and take down barrier champions. For the legendary version, mainly there are arc and solar shield for match game. There are no void shields, which is very happy about that, because last week there was 3 shields, which can be a bit annoying to deal with, where for this week it's only 2. Now sadly I do have to use double primary, but when using double primary and having the lament, you can get heavy bricks pretty fast, and you can get a whole bunch of heavy, especially when you put double sword ammo finder with the sword scavenger and passive guard. Now we're going to be activating the first beacon, and the first beacon will be dealing with basically hive enemies. So there's going to be a lot of arc captains or knight captains, which they will have red bar and the gold bar health. And another thing I like to mention is these acolytes shoot void, which is why I decided to go for the void resistance and the concussive dampener. There isn't any snipers for this week, so there is no need for sniper damage resistance compared to last week. And like I said, mainly ads shoot a lot of void. Acolytes can shoot fire. It's a big debate if you want to use solar resistance or void resistance. For me, I would just go for void resistance, since a lot of acolytes, a lot of ads do shoot void at the boss fight, and I definitely want to not get destroyed by them, especially when using lament to go aggressive to do DPS. I am using the sidearm, the Peacebond with the headstone. And first things first, I will take down the barrier champion. And we get a heavy brick. So yeah, using double primary with a lament is actually not so bad. You can get heavy bricks, like I said, pretty fast when using double primary. And you can turn invisible and then just use light swings to clear down the ads, or you can use Taiku, etc. So now I am just using light swings, gonna tether. There will be 2 wizards, which I wanted to blind them and definitely take them down quickly. Of course, the tether I did wasn't the best, but mainly want to take down the wizards since they do melt pretty fast and they can be a bit frustrating to deal with if you don't take them out quickly. They can use this smoke where you can slow you down, especially on Warlock or Titan. You can get stuck and then your damage over time, which will not be a good idea. And they can spam arc as well. which can be very dangerous since we don't have any arc damage resistance. Now, I am using protective light for this video. I was thinking of using loosened blade, and maybe I should have, to one-phase the boss. If I was using loosened blade, I could have one-phased the boss, but I just thought it'd be nice to just have protective light just in case, since this was my second attempt and sadly I had a death because the ship destroyed me near the boss room. Well, outside of the boss room. When I was trying to enter the realm where there are acolytes and then the last unstoppable champion. So definitely be aware of the ship in this realm of the ruins of Wrath, where they can melt you. It is extremely RNG where they shoot. Sometimes the ship doesn't shoot you, sometimes it does. So as you can see here, we're taking down the unstoppable champion. You can just use light swings, and I am not running out of any heavy. And there's a heavy brick and another heavy brick, so proof that using double sword ammo finder actually stacks when using double primary. Definitely try it out with the sidearm and the bow. Now, I do recommend to use explosive arc bow. I have tested out using the Volpal Point of the Stag. It was good, but I would prefer explosive payload than the Volpal. For the Volpal weapon with the arc bow, it is good with the fire team, but mainly this video we're going for the solo tramp, the what's it called, the loner, mainly, especially for players who did not have time to get the solo tramp from last week. You can get it for today. Be aware of your jumping, especially on these platforms, especially when you cannot double jump, which we passed through. And in this area, it's pretty easy to go to the next beacon. And now this beacon can be a little tricky. Now before you start, it is best to clear out all the acolytes first, and then you can activate the beacon. Now these acolytes don't count a percent at all for activating the beacon, or in other words, trying to get the 100%, it doesn't count. So just take them down because pretty much we don't want to waste too much time. Now I thought this spot was a good area, especially if you're on Warlock or Titan. This is the safest, but I will say that ads do push, especially the wizards. Now be aware that wizards will push you and they are solar shields. So always be very prepped, especially when using lament, because you will have a lot of solar wizards pushing towards you, and then the next phase will be the arc knights that will push you and spawn to the area where you are standing. So if ads are pushing you and you are on red health, let's just say you're on Warlock, you can just pull back to that little backway path and they definitely cannot hurt you. Another thing I'm trying to think, I think a Radiance or maybe the Devour Warlock would work well. And then for the Titan, you could one phase with the Titan Bubble. Still trying to think of other scenarios, especially for the two classes. Now you can see that you can use the Power Lament since they are Solar Shield Wizards. You could pull back, turn invisible, which is why I decided to go for the top tree, because we can manipulate the invisibility. And you can use the sidearm, especially with Headstone, to do critical headshots to make the mini crystal shards. So like I said, ads do push, acolytes will throw fire at you, but I think this area is probably the best for me because the Shrieker, you can see on the top left side, it doesn't open and it won't shoot void at you in this area unless you push close, and when you are pushing towards the anti-barrier champion, which we will see very soon of how I deal with it. So if ads aren't pushing you and everything seems to be alright, then what you can do is you can clear the remaining acolytes, the ads. You can go around this path like I mentioned, where if on Warlock or anything, things are not working out, you can just go around here. I'm going to turn invisible. And just to let you know, there will be a streaker to shoot void at you, but there is a wall, as you can see here, where if you do use lament, let's just say you don't have invisibility, let's just say you're on Warlock, where you could just use the lament and then you'll be covered and you can just easily take down the streaker. Since we don't have any sniper, we can just use the bow to do DPS at long distance. And this is another reason why I prefer to have void damage resistance with concussive dampener, or I could put double void resistance as well. But I'm trying to remember if the boss does stomp you, so that's why I did put concussive dampener. Now this one could be a little tricky. I do highly recommend to use your super because Arknights will spawn and they will push towards you. Not just 2, but probably around 7 or 8 gold Arknights will push towards you. So be super aware that they will go aggressive and be a little buggy, as you saw there. I'm not sure where he came from, but it seems that they're a bit buggy here where they do spawn. And once again, another Arknight out of nowhere just spawns in front of me, and then we have another Arknight. So just be aware that Arknights will push you at the second phase for the second beacon. And Acolytes will shoot fire at you. And we get another heavy brick. So seriously, double primary with lament is amazing for this. So you can pop a smoke, you can blind them, and I don't think there is any shrieker for this phase. I'm trying to remember. And of course, another Arknight spawns behind me. So like I said, there's going to be a bunch of Arknights. You have to be super aware of them, and like I said, be aware and always have your arc bow to break their shield, and then use a power lament. And you can see they are a bit buggy, which I don't like. You guys know me, I don't like bugs like this, so definitely be careful at the second phase. Second phase seems a bit off with these acolytes just teleporting, Arknights teleporting, but like I said, you can just go all the way from the back from the little path, and then you can just recover your health and then resume the DPS, clearing down the acolytes and ads. So now I'm just trying to clear as much ads as I can, then I'll deal with the barrier champion last. There is a couple of Arknights which I miss. I'm trying to look for him while taking down these acolytes, or these fire dudes I like to call them because they spam a lot of fire. And there is, I think that's the last Arknight which I'm trying to take down. So always be aware of your surroundings. And everything seems to be alright. So I turn invisible and then push towards the barrier champion. We can take down the barrier champion. Alright, so the last champion will be the anti-barrier. So once you clear down all the ads, you can take down the anti-barrier, and then if there are remaining acolytes, you can take them down. Then now we can finally proceed to the boss room. Alright, so as you can see here, the ship almost destroyed me again. So always be aware of the ship. It was not fun, so very RNG of where the ship's gonna shoot. You can shoot down the knights, you can take your time here. They do love to play the hide and seek method, as you guys know. There is this last unstoppable champion. Well, of course there is another champion at the boss fight, but I did not bother myself destroying it. And it doesn't really matter of getting the platinum for this Shadow's Realm. You still can get the solar trap, the loner. You don't need to destroy the last barrier champion. So now I'm just spamming the arc bow. And hopefully I can clear them down so we can actually proceed to the boss level. So yeah, acolytes like to shoot fire quite a lot. But you could just spam your bow from long distance, or you can just use your sidearm to go mid-range, but be aware of the unstoppable champion where it can shoot you if you are not careful where it's standing. I think in this footage I was being a little careless where the unstoppable champion almost destroyed me. I decided to stagger the champion so I can at least do some DPS dealing with the Arc Knights. Once I clear down as much ads as I can, then I will definitely go DPS the champion. Now because I have so much heavy, and even a heavy brick in front of me, I decided to just use a lament to take it down, or if I didn't have any heavy or I wanted to save it, I could just only use the sidearm. Now let's talk about the boss fight. Now you can one phase it with loosened blade, by the way, but in this video I decided to go to phase per phase, just be a little careful since I did not have loosened blade and I just want to take advantage of the protective light. So first things first, I do some DPS at the boss so the shield will pop and the solar wizard will spawn from the left side. I decided to just do some damage, not the whole damage, because I want to regain all my dodge. And then once I have both of my dodge for invisibility, then I'll go and take down the wizard. If you're standing here, ads don't push you, which is the good news for this area that I found out. The solar wizard will roam around, will move around, and it is hard to predict of where he will be standing. And the boss also as well does like to move around as well. So now I'm just trying to see if I can actually clear down ads, but it seems on phase when you do DPS at the boss and then it returns his shield, there'll be more ads that will spawn. So now I'm just looking for the wizard and I don't see it, unfortunately, so I was just trying to take down these Arc Knights a bit. And at the same time I was thinking, because I was trying to figure out where is the solar wizard so I can actually do some DPS at the boss. But yeah, you can definitely farm for heavy as well. Like if you don't have the lament, let's just say, and you need heavy, you can just spam your arc bow and take down knights. So I did saw the wizard and it looked like it was on low health, which it was good. So I decided to go turn invisible and push very soon. As you can see here, my health is low a bit and the wizard can melt you pretty fast. So just be super aware of that. and I'm just taking my sweet time. The smoke that you see there, the boss does that. I thought it was the wizard, but it's not. It's the boss. The boss likes to use this weird smoke to slow you down. So be very, very careful. So I was looking for the wizard. Then I had to pull back because he disappeared, which it was a bit irritating. So like I said, the only bad thing about this era is the wizard likes to roam around. You won't really see where the wizard's going, which could be annoying. So just be careful of your surroundings, especially like this where the Arcanite can push you when it's upset. But other than that, this is probably the safest spot. And now I'm trying to look for the solar wizard, but it looks like it's somewhere and it's a bit irritating. So I found a wizard finally, and I can actually do some damage with the boss. So I was waiting for my invisibility, trying to do DPS at the boss. Turn invisible, go back here to get the Wrathful, and then get the shield, and then turn invisible, and then pull back. Now I could have done more DPS, but I was a bit worried of my invisibility dodge. But like I said, if I was using Loosened Blade, you know, I could have one-faced that boss. Now it seems that more ads spawn when the boss's shield returns. And of course a wizard will spawn for you to destroy. And you can see that a lot of ads love to shoot void. That's why I decided to go for the void damage resistance, so I won't get melted really fast. And of course I was poisoned because the boss was trying to poison me. So now I'm just looking around, trying to find the wizard. And then I decided to pull back because I wanted to know where the wizard is before I do some DPS. So I was just looking around. And you can see there is a bunch of Arknights. So I see the wizard that is roaming and running away from me as usual. So that did not work out. So I had to pull back, which was a bit annoying, and try it again. It looked like the ads were paying attention of where I was before, so I decided to hide behind this wall, and I was just trying to find a wizard. The wizard is super annoying because it roams left and right. And of course the boss popped a poison on me, which I did not like. So finally I decided to use my super and then take down the boss. I did a dodge, and of course I did the heavy attack, and there you go guys. We finally beat the boss for the Thrones of Wrath. And the boss isn't really so bad. I do wish I had Loosened Blade to maybe try to one-face it. But everything worked perfectly, so thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!